CLD, one of the things you guys strive to do, and you mentioned this, is the scholarships. In the orientation, I do remember you, or do recall you saying that last year in 2015, there was over 40 kids who received scholarships, and around about 2.5 million, I believe, was the number for all the kids. Can you give us some of the success stories of certain people who've gotten scholarships, maybe a full ride, and so they can get a kind of understanding of this is more than just, you know, kids can get a paid education out of this as well.
Certainly, and so it's a huge thing. We talk about scholarships, and I love to ask students. I say, how many plan on going to college? And they all stand up. I say, yeah, me. I'm going to college, right? And I'm like, all right, beautiful. Now, how do you plan to pay for it? Because that's another argument. It's one thing to attend college. It's another thing to be able to pay for it and to graduate from college. State of Indiana, African Americans especially, graduation rate's incredibly low. 11% approximately of African American students graduate from college in 6 years, right? 6 years, not even 4, 6. And so that can be a daunting task, but resources can be part of that, daunting task. And so what we try to do, I mentioned how we try to make sure the students are prepared. I mentioned, remediation rates for African American students in the state of Indiana, about 46%. That's nearly half of students who go to college require some sort of remediation. For all other students, on average, it's 31% for all of the students, 46% for African American students. Within Center for Leadership Development, that's why we try to make sure we get some resources for students to take advantage of, so that way they're able to be involved, and that way they don't have to get there and face the same remediation rates. And so remediation rates within Center for Leadership Development students, actually for students who take advantage of our College Prep Institute, drops to about 33%. For our students who don't take advantage of that particular opportunity, I think it's around 35%. And so still fairly on par with what state averages are for overall students, not just African American students, right? Better percentage points and returns there. And so that's part of it. But then when you come to the financial process, it's about students understanding, all right, here's an opportunity for me. And so it's not going to be handed out to me. It's not just going to be, hey, I've got a 2.1. Can you give me a full ride scholarship? But for students who are deserving of it, we have about 23 college partners across the state of Indiana and a few outside of the state of Indiana that have slotted availabilities for scholarships within their institutions. And so, I tell people it's usually an easier time for me to tell you who's not on the list in the state of Indiana than who is on the list, right? And so we've got your IUs, we've got Purdue, Ball State, Indiana State University. Notre Dame just came on board. Earlham just came on board here recently. IUPUI, Butler, U of I. The only schools in the state of Indiana that we don't have, for the most part, might be University of Southern Indiana and Rolls-Holman. Other than that, we have most of the other schools within the state of Indiana. But it's really about students saying, hey, this is a vital opportunity. And so a gentleman who I met in Project Mister in 2013, a young man came in. He was his name's Dan Natala. He was at Indiana International School of Indiana. And so at the time, I met him as a sophomore, and I got to see him kind of grow a little bit and grow through different programs here within Center for Leadership Development. He came back on board. He's now a student facilitator. He's been doing this for a number of years since then. But an awesome young man. And so just kind of establishing a relationship, attending some of his basketball games, soccer games, and then to see him this year take part in that scholarship process. He was awarded scholarships to 2 schools. 2 schools chose him. Wabash offered him a full ride scholarship, and so did Purdue, right? And it's just great when you have not only one offer, but you have 2 offers to pay for your entire education. And so wonderful opportunity. In 2015, the final numbers were, I believe there were 48 offers, and those offers totaled $2.9 million. This year, I don't know what the final number is because we're still kind of shaking out offers and acceptances, but I know it's kind of right around that same area. And so we have opportunities for students in regards to college, and then we have some great high school partners. Some middle school students have opportunities to engage with those high school partners as well. And so we have some high school partners at like Cathedral High School and